Samantha from Jessimo Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create muku megane using translucent polymer clay. Now I'm going to be using Prima polymer clay today, but feel free to use whatever brand of polymer clay you want. And we're going to be colouring that translucent with regular colours of clay. You can use alcohol ink in substitution for regular clay if you want. Now I have got translucent polymer clay here, and then I'm going to be colouring it with fuchsia, purple and alizarin crimson, and you're just going to mix those three colours up. And here are how the colours should have come out. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to rip each of those in two, and we're going to create not really a skinner blend but more just a marble out of these by just semi-blending the colours. So once you've ripped them in two, you're going to take that and you're going to overlap the colours and overlap them a bit, because that's where the colours are going to cross over one another and create the colours that you want. And you don't have to have it so that they're all the same. You can see there that I changed that up a little. There we go. And then I'm just going to fold that and I'm going to roll that through the pasta machine a couple of times. You could also use your roller if you want to, but you're just going to roll it out like this until that's kind of flattened out, and then you're going to fold it again and continue until it's blended. And there we go. That's how it should look. Then we're going to take this and I'm going to actually just rip it into large pieces and just randomly spot that over itself. And I got the blend so that the colours don't so that when I've put them together like this, they've still got a little bit of a semi-blend going on through them. But you could just take the colours plain as they are and do this as well if you wanted to. I just kind of patch it together and make the chunks nice and big, because I don't want the colours to be too separate from one another. Then you're going to take your roller and you're just going to flatten that out into one solid veneer. And I want this to roughly be about 1 millimeter thick or less. 1 millimeter at most. And I'm just flattening it out until I can't see any more of the lines that's making up each of these individual pieces. That should do. Then you're going to take a piece of white polymer clay and you're going to have rolled that out as thin as possible. So as thin as you can possibly make it. It can't be too thin. And you're going to pop that down over the top. Then trim away that extra clay. And then we're going to pop that through the pasta machine and roll it out to 1 millimeter thick. And this is going to be the base for our muku megane. Okay, and here we go. Here is how it looks on the other side. This is the side we're going to be stamping though. And then I have a stamp over here. This is the texture that I'm using. Feel free to use any texture you want. You want the pattern, in this case kind of a dandelion pattern, to be the part that gets imprinted into the clay. That's only the really important part. And this is silicone, so it doesn't need a release, so I'm just going to pop that straight down. And I'm going to place this white side down onto here. And then I don't want my fingers to stick to this, so I'm going to use a baby wipe to create a buffer between my fingers and the clay. And then I'm going to start from one end and I'm going to press the clay into that stamp. And that should do. I'm just going to lift that up. You can see if that's been printed out properly. It has. Alright, now I need to be a little careful here because the clay is very thin and so therefore is a little bit on the delicate side, and it needed to be thin for this to work, but it does mean that there is a little bit of a risk that it could rip, especially along the edges of that texture stamp. So I need to lift that up carefully, and there we go, that works fine. Lift that up and just pat it down into the areas where it might have torn a little bit, and then I can trim away this extra clay. I can use that for other things, but it needs to be thin because I want to shave away the top layer of white, and then the translucent I'm going to leave without a backing, and I want it to be so that you can actually see the light through it, so it has to be thin, because if I try to thin it out later it will stretch the pattern. So it does make it a little bit trickier to stamp, but I feel like the result will be worth it. Now you want to make sure that your tile is dry, and you can see here on the back where it's ripped a little bit, you can go in and smooth over those cracks to kind of patch it back up again. But there aren't too many areas where that's a problem. And I'm just gonna place that down. Pat it down with your palm so that it sticks to your work surface, and it shouldn't move around. If it does, it needs to dry a little bit more because the baby wipe was a little wet. Alright, and once that's stuck and won't move when you press it, you can then bring over a flexible tissue blade, and we're going to shave off that top layer. And I'm going to go carefully first, and of course the one area that I start, it's still moving. Let me try in the middle here. I'm going to shave that off, and I'm being careful because I don't want to go too deep. I just want to shave off the top white part, and so I will go shallow at first, and then I can go back over and clean up the pattern afterwards, because I haven't completely got it right, but as a whole you can see there how the pattern's going to start to come out. And yeah, you're just going to continue shaving, and you can see how this would work with most texture stamps as well. And just continue going until you've pretty much cleaned up the whole pattern. And every once in a while I would recommend cleaning off your blade as well, because it's going to get a little sticky and sometimes it can make it a little difficult to shave. So if you find that it's dragging and giving problems, give it a little clean, and that should solve it out. And there we go, nice and clean. Now I'm going to just bring over a piece of printing paper, and I'm going to use that to just burnish it flat so that there isn't any marks on the surface anymore. And this should be quite thin at this point, and this is going to thin it out a little bit more. But I would recommend burnishing rather than using your roller or putting it through your pasta machine, because that way you won't stretch the pattern. You're just going to be squishing the clay in its existing pattern into a nice smooth veneer. Then I'm just going to lift that up off the tile, and this should be nice and thin. And I'm just going to hold that up to the light, yes, so I can see a little bit of light coming through that. So it's just going to kind of look like a stained window. Right, I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm just going to bring over an accent colour for it. And this is graphite pearl, and I've rolled it out to roughly the same thickness as our piece over here. This actually is a little bit thicker than this, but that works out perfectly fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim it in half, because I'm going to be making a pair of earrings, so I'll work with one piece at a time. And I'm just going to pop that down, just smooth it, and then I've got a pair of cutters here. Any cutters you like will work. This is my rhomboid cutter set. I'll have that linked in the description below, along with the texture stamp that I used in today's video. And what you're going to do, I'm just trying to get it so you can see everything on screen here. Let me just bring it out a little bit. There we go. This is going to be the outside cutter. This is going to be the inner cutter. You're going to start off with the smaller of the two, and you are going to cut out a piece from here, and you are going to cut out a piece from here. And this piece you are going to remove, and this is all a solid color, so it doesn't really matter how you do it. This can just go back into your colors. And I'm just going to take this and move it out of the way. Pick it up and just tap around the edges, because you might have a little bit of fluffy bits of clay hanging around and you don't want that getting on the graphite. Okay, and then you're just going to insert that into the spot, and it should fit nicely like that. And then just smooth it down. And I'm going to bring over a piece of paper again, and you're going to give it a burnish, and burnish along those edges. And it does not need to be perfectly smooth. I kind of want there to be a little bit of a differentiation between the layers, so I'm just kind of burnishing along the edge, especially since the graphite is a little bit taller, so I'm just kind of giving it almost a bevel along those edges, and then I'm smoothing away any fingerprints. Okay, and I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to bring over the larger cutter now, and you're going to position that in the middle and cut, and that should give you a nice little frame around your piece. And lift that up and put that away, and then you are going to repeat for the other piece. And this one I'm going to just bring over another piece of paper, because I want it to bake, or at least I want it to sit over here. I think I might end up doming it. I'm just going to pick that up and just tap the edges. We're going to be doing some sanding to clean it up, so I'm just getting rid of a little bit of that. Here's what the back looks like. Now I'm just going to pop it on the piece of paper so that it's out of the way, and then we're going to work with that after I've done the other one. And there we go. I'm then going to bring over this doming tool. It's a little metal soap dish, and I'm just going to take these, grab them, and I'm just going to pop it down onto the top here, and then with the palm of my hand gently tap it down so that it sticks. The palm generally leaves less fingerprints. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the other one. Just pick it up, rotate this around, place that down and tap. Okay, and there we go. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of leftover clay. I'm going to use that just as a way to kind of balance this when it goes into the oven, because I don't want it sitting like it is now. You'll just pop this down like this into the oven, and that way you can bake it standing up so that both sides come out nice and clean. You're going to bake that for about 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature. Afterwards we're going to give it a sand, a varnish, and I might end up doing a second bake because I'm still on the fence as to whether I want these to be stud earrings or not, so we'll see how that goes when they're finished baking. And here is how they look once they're out of the oven. And I've given them a quick sand with some 800 grit sandpaper on both sides. And hopefully you can see there the pattern on the back side of the piece as well. And I'll show it in photos, but these are completely translucent apart from the white. So when they hang up to the light, they almost look like stained glass windows, which was the effect I was trying to go for. Now these do need to get varnished. I have decided to not make them stud earrings because I don't want to disrupt the effect that I've got going, so they're going to get drilled after varnishing. And I'm going to be using Varathane water-based gloss varnish. And I'm just going to pop that on. And that takes about 15 minutes to dry, and then I will apply another layer to the back. And then after that you can assemble them. And this is made from only polymer clay, so if you want to sand it up to a high shine and skip the varnish, you can do that as well. These don't have to be varnished because there's no paint or anything like that that needs to be sealed in. So you could go for a high gloss sand if you wanted to, with a buff at the end. Or you could leave them matte as well, that works as well. And here's how it should look once it's been varnished. And here is the back. I'm not sure if you can see, I will probably have to show in photos or right at the end in a video, but this is a really nice stained glass effect. Now I'm just going to drill a hole with this pin drill, and that should be really quick because this is nice and thin. And these earrings really weigh basically nothing. They're a little bit on the large side, but they don't weigh anything. There we go. And then because of the border that I've got around here, I actually decided to go with gunmetal for the findings so that it matches with the colour of the border. Though feel free to go with whatever colour findings you wish. And I'm just going to pop that jump ring on, pop on the ear wire, and then close it up. Nice, quick and easy. And there we go. That's the earring. And I have already done the other one as well, so let me bring that one over. And there we go. That's how they look. And I'm going to pop a video on screen now of what they look like in the sunlight so you can see the translucency. Because that window effect is really quite cool, and bearing in mind you can go ahead and use that technique for anything you want, just so long as you have the translucent clay with a pattern that is opaque on top. You could swap the mukume garnet out, the white layer that is, you could swap that out for a silk screen if you wanted to as well, and you'd get roughly the same effect. Though I feel like the mukume garnet is a little better because it embeds into the clay a bit more, and so you can see it from the back end as well. It also means that you don't have to worry about sealing anything because it's all polymer clay. But yeah, that is just about it. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. And if you'd like to support the channel so that I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a member. There is a join button just below this video where you can become a member to gain access to these videos early, as well as exclusive videos that are available to members only. Another way to support the channel is to check out my Etsy store where I sell things such as the texture stamp and the cutters that I used in today's video. Anyway, that is just about it. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.